Imagine this. A pristine Australian beach in 1948. A well-dressed man found lifeless, leaning against a seawall. No wallet, no ID, no clue as to who he was. In his pocket, a slip of paper with the cryptic words, Tamam Shud, Persian for, "It is finished." Over 70 years later, the identity of the man and the circumstances of his death remain one of the most confounding mysteries of our time. Was he a spy, a victim of foul play, or simply a man with a tragic secret? Let's journey into the baffling tale of the Somerton Man and the many layers of intrigue that surround it. The discovery of the body. On December 1st, 1948, a man taking an early morning stroll along Somerton Beach near Adelaide, Australia, made a chilling discovery. A man was slumped against a seawall, his head tilted slightly, as though he were asleep. Dressed in a neatly pressed suit with polished shoes, the man appeared out of place on the sandy beach. At first, passers-by assumed he was drunk or resting. However, as the morning light brightened, it became clear something was wrong. The man wasn't moving. Authorities were called, and upon closer examination, they confirmed he was dead. Strangely, there were no signs of violence, no obvious injuries, and no indication of how he had died. The mystery deepened when police searched his belongings. The man carried no identification, no wallet, and no labels on his clothing. They had all been meticulously removed. In his pockets, authorities found a few mundane items: a used bus ticket, an unused train ticket, some matches, and a comb. The lack of any ID was unusual, even for the time, and raised immediate questions. An autopsy that raised more questions. The autopsy revealed even more puzzling details. The man was in his mid-40s, appeared to be in excellent physical health, and had no visible injuries. However, his stomach contained blood, suggesting internal hemorrhaging, and his organs were swollen, particularly his liver and spleen. Toxicology tests failed to detect any poison, but the findings suggested he may have ingested a substance that was either undetectable or had broken down quickly. One notable detail was his physical condition. His calves were unusually well developed, and his feet showed signs consistent with wearing tight shoes. Some speculated he might have been a professional dancer or someone accustomed to physical activity requiring strong legs. However, this detail only added another layer of intrigue to the mystery: the slip of paper. Tamam Shud. As the investigation continued, police found a small but crucial clue in a hidden pocket of the man's trousers. It was a tightly rolled piece of paper with two words: Tamam Shud. These words, meaning "it is finished," or "the end" in Persian, were torn from the final page of a book of poetry, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. This discovery sent investigators on a frantic search for the book from which the words had been torn. Remarkably, a man came forward months later, claiming to have found a copy of the Rubaiyat in the back seat of his car, abandoned around the time of the man's death. In the book, detectives found a tear that matched the piece of paper perfectly. Even more bizarrely, the book contained faint pencil marks, a series of letters arranged in what appeared to be a cipher. Attempts to decode this mysterious sequence have stumped experts for decades, with no definitive interpretation. Was it a personal note, a coded message, or an elaborate hoax? The identification challenge. With no name, identification, or leads on the man's origins, police turned to his appearance. His clothes were well-tailored but lacked labels, suggesting deliberate effort to obscure their origin. A dry-cleaning tag and thread not commonly used in Australia hinted that the man might have been from the United States or Europe. A global inquiry into missing persons yielded no matches. Photographs and dental records of the man were compared against international databases but produced no leads. Even his fingerprints were checked against countless registries, including military records, yet no match was ever found. Investigators began circulating images of the man's death mask, a plaster cast of his face, hoping someone would recognize him. Despite significant public interest, no one came forward to identify the mysterious stranger. A connection to Jessica Thompson? One of the most intriguing developments in the case came when police found a potential link between the Somerton Man and a woman named Jessica Thompson, who lived near Somerton Beach. A copy of the Rubaiyat found in the abandoned car contained a phone number written on its back cover. That number led investigators to Thompson, a nurse with a mysterious connection to the case. When questioned, Thompson claimed she didn't know the Somerton Man. However, her behavior struck investigators as odd. She seemed anxious and reluctant to provide details about her life. Some even suggested she may have recognized the man but chose not to admit it. Adding to the mystery, Thompson once owned a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, which she had given to an acquaintance. The book was never found, leaving another thread dangling in this tangled web. Espionage theories. One of the most popular theories about the Somerton Man is that he was a spy. The timing of his death coincided with the early stages of the Cold War, a period rife with covert intelligence operations. His apparent familiarity with codes, his lack of identification, and his physical condition all lent credibility to the idea that he might have been involved in espionage. Australia was a strategic location during this time, with several key military installations in the region. Could the Somerton Man have been a foreign agent operating undercover? If so, was his death the result of a failed mission or betrayal? Supporters of this theory point to the cryptic cipher found in the Rubaiyat as potential evidence of a coded message. However, without a key to decode it, the letters remain a tantalizing but ultimately inconclusive piece of the puzzle. Other theories. Beyond espionage, numerous other theories have emerged. Some believe the Somerton Man was involved in a romantic tragedy, possibly involving Jessica Thompson. Others speculate he might have been a sailor or traveler who met with an accidental or intentional poisoning. The theory of unrequited love gained traction due to the themes of the Rubaiyat, a book often associated with love, fate, and existential pondering. Could the Somerton Man's possession of the torn page reflect personal despair or a deliberate statement about his life? Still, others argue that the mystery may not be as elaborate as it seems. The lack of identification and removal of labels could simply reflect a deliberate attempt to end his life anonymously without burdening others. The modern investigation. In recent years, advances in technology have breathed new life into the Somerton Man case. Efforts to extract and analyze DNA from his remains have offered hope of identifying him. In 2021, after decades of requests, his body was exhumed for further examination. The DNA analysis aims to construct a genetic profile that can be compared against global databases. Early findings suggest he may have had European ancestry, which aligns with earlier theories about his foreign origins. However, as of now, his identity remains unknown. The enduring fascination. What keeps the Somerton Man case so captivating is the sheer number of unanswered questions. Who was he? Why was he carrying a torn page from a book of poetry? What do the cryptic letters in the Rubaiyat mean? The case has inspired books, documentaries, and podcasts, each exploring its many facets. Armchair detectives and professional investigators alike have poured countless hours into theories, hoping to crack the mystery. Yet, despite all this attention, the Somerton Man remains an enigma, a puzzle that refuses to be solved. His story is a haunting reminder of how some mysteries may never yield their secrets, no matter how deeply we search for answers. The Somerton Man case continues to baffle and intrigue. Was he a spy caught in the web of Cold War espionage, a lover consumed by heartbreak, or simply a man with secrets we'll never fully understand? Decades have passed, but the mystery remains as compelling as ever. Perhaps the answer lies in DNA, or maybe in a clue yet to be discovered. Until then, the Somerton Man will remain a ghost of history, a cipher that defies resolution. What do you think happened to him? Let us know your theories and don't forget to subscribe for more mysteries like this one.